Hello friends, how's it going? It's me, Betty Jean. In today's video, I'm going to be going over my best of beauty for 2020. These are the products that I deem as my yearly favorites. I feel like I'm definitely gonna forget something because it's really hard to look back on the entire year's worth of products, but I think I got it down to my favorites that I thought of at least. I have everything ranging from complexion to eyes to lips, all that good stuff, and I'm very excited to talk about it. I always love doing this every year. I also did do a video where I kind of revisited my 2019 favorites, and we just kind of talked about all of those again, and I chatted about what I still think is a favorite, what's kind of left my life, all that good stuff as well. Before we hop into the video itself, I did of course film this look. It should already be up on my IGTV by the time this video goes up. And then just a few little jewelry details. This necklace is from Ana Luisa. I don't know if you can see my plugs, but these spiderweb plugs are from Hear No Evil Jewelry on Etsy. This is a Charisma brand wig. Check my FAQ in the description box if you need spelling. And I don't know where this beanie's from. I get compliments all the time, but it's old. I don't know what to tell you. I have no clue where it's from. Anyways, with all of that being said, let's just hop in and chat about my favorite products for 2020. We're just gonna go in the order that I do my makeup because that's just what makes sense. So the first thing I do is my brows, and I have a couple brow products to talk about that I really started loving this year. First of all, I was still into the fiber brow gel game where I just heavily coat my brows in fiber brow gel to give them a little bit of hold, a little bit of color, a little bit of fill, just to kind of pre-fill them. So my favorite right now is the Milk Makeup Kush Brow Gel. I've been using the shade Dutch. I've also really been enjoying the Glossier Boy Brow, but I don't have any more of that one. So the one I'm gonna specifically talk about is the Milk one. I like how teeny tiny the wand is. It's just really nice and precise. Sometimes I get a little messy with it, but that's why I do my brows first, so I can just kind of clean up any residue I get on anything first, and I don't know. It does the job for me. I love this. Sometimes I'll use just this because I'm too lazy to do anything further, and it gets them looking filled enough. Next are a couple brow pens. This is the Milk Makeup Triple Brow Pen. I've been using this one lately in conjunction with that brow gel. It has 3 little prongs. I don't think you'll really be able to see it. This is also the shade Dutch. I'll be honest, it has a little bit of a blue tint, so go in very light-handed if you use this. I don't know about the other shades. I did get sent the blonde ones back when they first launched. They seemed like okay colors, but I'm not blonde, so they didn't work for my brows. But this one seems fine as long as I use a light hand. I just do little strokes towards the bottom and feather it upwards, and it just helps give them a little bit of shape on the underneath. I've really been liking this one. I've also been quite enjoying the Glossier Brown Brow Flick. It's just kind of like a pen, and you just kind of go in and draw individual strokes. I feel like the Triple Brow Pen, I can get my brows done a little bit faster. This one I have to be a little bit more tedious with it, but I still like this one. It does a great job for me. So yeah, quite a few brow products. I didn't expect to fall in love with a bunch of new brow things this year, but alas, here we are. Moving on to the face, next I prime my face, and I have 3 primers that I've fallen in love with this year. The first one being this Juno & Co. Moonshine Miracle Cream. It's such a cool, pretty packaging. It looks like a space craft or something like that, but it's just this really thick, creamy, hydrating, moisturizing type primer. It's so incredibly nourishing. I love the way this one feels. I was really especially loving this one in the summer. I don't know why specifically that's when I liked this one, but it just made me feel nice and nourished with wearing a mask all day in the heat, working in my salon with the blow dryers. It's been great. I like this one when I'm feeling extra dry. It's been a lifesaver. I've also fallen in love with the Glossier Futuredew. I'm like a third through it. That's crazy, but I really like this. It's a very kind of tacky, highlighty, sticky kind of primer. It's very nice. I've also worn this just completely by itself on days that I just want to have a little bit of glow, but I don't feel like doing my makeup. This has been good for that as well. I know some people also use it as like a cream highlight. I personally haven't tried that, but to each their own. I think it's a very nice primer. My makeup lays nice on top of it. I like the glowy aspect. I have more of normal to dry skin in case you don't know, and I'm all about the dew. And a recent favorite, I've only been using this one for a little over a month now, but this is the Pixi C Vitamin Plus Brightening Perfector, I think is what it's called. I've rubbed the name off at this point. I'm already like a good chunk of the way done with this. I feel like this is equally a smoothing primer, but also kind of a dewy primer. It's not like incredibly dewy. I feel like glowy is a better word because it doesn't make me look wet. It just makes me look kind of glowy. I feel like that doesn't make sense, but it does in my mind. It smells the way orange starbursts taste. It's delightful. I've really been enjoying this. I didn't expect to have more than those 2 primers, but this one has just stolen my heart. I love this one lately. I've been using it nonstop. Moving on to foundation, I have 2 to talk about. The first being the Bite Beauty Changemaker foundation. I have gotten through this. It is like over halfway gone at this point. This is kind of like a light, could be built up to medium coverage foundation. It is so nice. This is probably my favorite like foundation I've ever used. It makes me feel like I just have lovely skin. It doesn't make me feel like I have a lot of product on. I don't know how to explain it. Like, it definitely looks like I have makeup on, but in the most skin-like way possible without it being a tinted moisturizer either. It's great. I feel like it has just a really nice natural kind of dewy finish, but not overly. I freaking love this. The shade I use is L15, and it's just a beautiful foundation. It is my current favorite ever. It's wonderful. I love the amount of coverage because I'm not a super full coverage kind of person, and I just love the finish. I love that slightly dewy aspect. I've also been quite impressed with the Colourpop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Hydrating Foundation. This one is more of like a medium, could be built up to maybe a semi-full coverage. I personally only do like half a pump to maybe one pump total because it could be a little on the full coverage side if you build it up, and that's not my game. For me, this has a very just natural finish. It's not matte, it's not super dewy, it's just kind of natural looking. The shade they sent me was Fair 15W. I probably would have picked one with an N personally. I feel like the W is just slightly off, but not so off that I can't use this. Overall, I think this is really pretty. On the days that I feel the urge to have slightly more coverage, I've been reaching for this one, and I felt like this was a good launch for them. Moving on to concealer, this is the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. This one was actually put in my empties bin because I've like run through it. There's only just like a little bit of goo around the sides, but I really like this concealer. I have the shade Fair Beige. I hated the original Camo concealer. This one is delightful. It's very hydrating, very just, I don't know, it blends really easy under the eyes. It doesn't dry down too fast. I feel like it has a nice semi-dewy finish. It's not like super glowy or sweaty looking, but it's not matte at all. It's a lovely concealer. I really, really like this. I do plan on repurchasing it at some point. I just want to finish up some of the concealers that I already have in my arsenal. I don't have any cream bronzers or cream highlights to talk about because I feel like I'm still using the same ones from last year, but I do have a cream blush. I discovered the Milani Cheek Kiss liquid blushes. The one that I brought out is the shade Nude Flush. It's just a really pretty kind of neutrally pinky kind of color. It's really, really pretty. These are very similar to the Glossier Cloud Paints, and they're about half the price. I think the color selection's cute. I have two of the shades. I wouldn't mind having some more shades. This is a lovely little formula. I feel like it blends out on my skin nicely, and it's just cute. I haven't been on a big cream kick lately. I feel like I've kind of switched back to just using powders, but I'm positive I'll bust it out again soon because I always inevitably go back to the creams over the last couple years. Moving on to setting powder, I'm still loving my Milk Makeup Blur Powder as much as I did last year, but I did also discover the NYX High Glass Finishing Powder. I love this. This is my second one. I completely ran through my first one. I don't use this all over my face. I use the Milk one to set kind of like my T-zone and under eyes, but I'll use this on the perimeter of my face. And it just leaves my skin looking so glowy. It doesn't set it down matte and cakey. It is just so soft and glowy. I will say be careful if you use this. Don't use like a ton and pack it on because it'll look like, I don't know, like you just put like straight up highlight on your face, but it is very nice as a glowy setting powder if you just use a light little hand, and I love it because I don't want a matte face. I don't have any new bronzers to talk about. I kind of just stay stuck in my ways and use the same ones, but I do have the Kaleidos Charisma Contour Palette to talk about. This is the Fair and Light one. This is my new favorite contour palette of all time. I've been using it a lot the last couple months, although I haven't really used it this month. I haven't been on a contour kick right now, but I do still really like this. I feel like this is a great contour color for my pale skin. I feel like it truly just looks like a shadow. It doesn't look too warm or too gray. It's just truly the perfect shade for me. I use this one on my nose sometimes, but I don't really do a whole lot on my nose. And this shade is great for kind of cleaning up underneath my contour if I got a little messy. It's a good just highlighty shade for that without it being too bright. I love this little guy. I love the packaging. It's super tiny and sleek, and I just adore it. Let's talk about blush. This is the Menagerie blush palette. This is fan-freaking-tastic. It is quite the big boy of blushes. The palette itself is a bit expensive, but they are also sold as singles. I'm wearing this Persimmon shade right now. I love all the shades in here, especially like the yellow. I love the Persimmon one. I think those are my two favorites, but I've dabbled in all of them. I think they are such beautiful blushes. They are crazy pigmented though, so if you're not into a pigmented blush, you would not like this at all, but I adore this palette. I think it's fantastic. Going back to Kaleidos, these next two products aren't available anymore, so it might annoy some of you, but they have truly been favorites for me this year. But they're the Lo-Fi blushers. I do believe they're bringing them back. I think they're just changing the packaging is what I understand. This is the Lo-Fi Peach. Peach. This is the Lo-Fi Rose. I hope they bring back the same shades so that more people have the opportunity to get them, but also more shades because I love these so much. It comes with kind of a highlighty shade and a blush. I personally don't use the highlight as a highlight on my pale skin, but I do mix them together to kind of make a glowy blush. But most of the time I'll use just the blush by itself because they're both super cute and had to shout them out because they're beautiful and I hope they come back. I have a couple individual blushes now. This is the Natasha Denona Bloom Highlighting Blush. This was actually a subscriber gift and I'm thrilled about it because I wanted this so badly, but I've been on a strict makeup budget this year and I was just so touched by this gift. I love this blush. It's just such a beautiful, glowy, kind of pinky blush. It's so pretty. I loved this in the summer. It was such a pretty glowy blush. So good. Next from Colourpop, this is the Crossroads blush. This was from the Wild Nothing collection. I love the little cactus on the front, but this is just a really pretty kind of terracotta blush. It's a really pretty color and I've been obsessed with it. Hands down one of my favorite blushes of the whole year, obviously because it's in this video, but even out of the blushes I'm talking about, it's just one of my favorites. It's such a pretty color. And next, just the Odenzai blushes in general. I love all 6 of them, but these 2 are my favorites, hands down. I've talked about them a million times. There are 3 flower blushes and 3 fruit blushes. The flower ones have a little bit of shimmer and the fruit ones have a little bit more of a matte finish. This is the first flower blush I want to talk about. Well, the only one I'm going to talk about specifically. This is the shade Little Jasmine. Also one of my favorite blushes that I've tried this year. It's so pretty. I love that glow. I love that kind of warm, toasty pinkiness. It's so pretty. And then this fruit blush is the Apricot Girl one. It's such a cute little pink. I love this color. I love all of the Odenzai blushes. I think the formula is fantastic. I hope to see more shades next year. That would be very cool. I also do have a discount code with Odenzai if you're interested. BEAUTBEAN in all caps will save you 10%. It is an affiliate code, full disclosure, so don't use it if you're not comfortable with me making a small commission, but it's there if you want to save money and I appreciate it very much if you do. But just look how cute. I love these blushes. They're very fun. All right, let's move on to highlight, and I guess let's stay talking about Odenzai because those are the highlight palettes I have to talk about. Both of the highlight palettes from Odenzai I'm absolutely obsessed with. They're so good. This is the Salmon palette right here, and then the other one is the Alva 2. Let me try to awkwardly hold them up next to each other. I love both. I don't know if I can pick a favorite between the 2. I bounce between all 8 of these shades all the time. I think they're so beautiful. Some of my favorite highlights in my whole collection. Oh, it's so hard. Let me just swatch a couple of them. I'll swatch like this pink one and this kind of white one, pinky one, whitish one. They're just so glowy. And then in the Alva 2, let's just swatch Salamander because it's unstoppable. And the blue one, that one's Salamander. It's so glittery and pretty. And then that blue one is just epic. I feel like my swatches are going to be horrible in this video, but that's okay. The whole point of this video is it's my favorites, so you've probably seen me play with these all a million times. But I love these highlight palettes. I think the highlights from Odenzai are my favorite thing from them in general. I think that's correct. I love them so much. I want to see more highlights next year. I wouldn't be mad if they came out with singles because I know some of you are interested in trying their highlights, but you don't want a whole palette, and I totally get that, so I hope they come out with singles. That'd be really cool. I have to talk about my Bitter Lace Beauty Candy Coated highlights. They're just so pretty. I have all 6 of them, and they are just absolutely stunning. I'll swatch just a couple of them. This is Sugar Sweet. This is Pastel Pucker. Those are my 2 most used ones, but they are the prettiest, just like crazy bright duochrome highlights. I'll use these as eyeshadow. I'll use them as face highlight. They smell like candy. It is to die for. I'm so thrilled about these. I'm so thankful that I have all of them. I purchased 2 of them back when they first launched, and the brand was so nice and included the other 4 in my order, and I'm just so thrilled about them. The only one I can't wear as a face highlight is this blue one called, I think, Taffy Tart. Yes, Taffy Tart, because it's a little too bright blue, but it makes a beautiful eyeshadow. I'm thrilled with these. I feel like I don't play with them a ton on camera, which I definitely need to, but I play with them a lot if I'm just doing something quick before work. My go-to before work, if I don't want to do a whole look and I can't film, is I'll just pick a really pretty highlighty thing, whether it's one of those or like a Super Shock shadow or something that I can put on the lid and the cheeks and just blend it all together, throw on some lashes and call it a day. Next is the Colourpop Seismic Highlight. It's what I'm wearing right now. It's just so pretty. Hands down one of my favorite just single highlights this year. It's so good. This was part of the That's Taupe collection, which was one of my favorite launches of the whole year. That one took me by so much surprise how much I loved it. But it's just such a pretty, creamy, bright highlight. It has little bits of sparkle in it. It's so nice. I love this one. I personally apply this with either my beauty sponge, a really small dense highlighting brush, or my finger. I don't usually prefer my finger though. I don't like my fingers to get dirty, but yeah, that's how I apply this. And next, I couldn't narrow it down, so I have 4 highlights from Kaleidos to talk about because I love them so much. My favorite one of the 4, or in general really, is the Diamond Dasher one. It's just a really pretty, soft, pinky color. It's so cute. This one is Moon Cruiser, also one of my favorites. I love the sparkle in these highlights. It's so pretty. And this one just has the prettiest purple blue shift. It's so cool. This one is Prophecy. It's their multi-chrome highlight and it is so special. This is another one that I like to wear as like a eyeshadow and a highlight on quick work days. It has kind of like a red, rosy, fuchsia, slightly green shift. The green doesn't show up so much on me, but regardless, I still love that fuchsia kind of action. It's so cute. And this is the reformulated Mars Melter. To me, it is completely different from the original Mars Melter, but I'm in love with it. I love that strong pinky red hue. It's so cute. I'm thrilled with these. I cannot wait to see what Kaleidos comes out with next year because they always kill it. I feel like they literally can do no wrong for me. I have tried quite the variety of freckle products this year and I still stand by that Freck is my favorite and that was my favorite in 2019. But lately over the last couple months I have been enjoying the Kimchi Chic freckle pen. It's called Afternoon in the Flower Field. I'm wearing it on my face right now. I don't love this nearly as much as Freck, but it's still very cute. I feel like this is the most like natural looking one because it like blends out so faded looking and I feel like it looks just the most authentic, but I'm also not trying to pretend like my fake freckles are real. I literally don't care if they look like fake freckles. But I did want to shout this out because I've been enjoying it a lot these last few months and it's been my favorite out of the new ones I've tried, if that makes sense. The setting spray I want to talk about is the Milk Hydro Grip Setting Spray. Do you see how like empty this is getting? I've only been using this for about like 2 months, but I've been using it like a madman. It's so good. It makes my skin feel so refreshed. I love how the mister feels. I love how it makes my skin look. I feel like it just makes me look and feel super hydrated. This is such a good setting spray. I'm going to be forced to repurchase it once I'm out of it because it's so good. Either this, the Pixi Glow Mist, or that Colourpop Pretty Fresh Setting Spray. Those are my top 3, but I think this is my #1. It's just so refreshing and good. Okay, we are done with the face. Let's move on to the eyes, which I know we're all excited about. We all love talking about eyeshadow on this channel. I wanted to quickly shout out the Urban Decay Primer Potion in the shade Original. I got sent this when they sent me one of their palettes a while back, and I know this is an old product, but it's new to me, and I've been loving it this like second half of the year. I feel like I've been using it nonstop. I still love my Smashbox lid primer with my whole heart, but I really like this one as well. I think the 2 of those are tied for first place in my collection. I don't know, it's just been a really nice eyeshadow primer. I don't really know what else to say. I think the wand's nice, I think the formula's nice. I wish it had a little more tint, but I've been informed by you guys that they have other like shades of this formula, so might have to try one of those down the road, but for the most part, I love this and I wanted to shout it out. Okay, let's get into eyeshadow. I want to just start by talking about my favorite palette, my baby, the love of my life. I know this won't really be a yearly favorites for most of you because the launch didn't happen until the end of the year and it was like a pre-order situation, so they're still going out as we speak, but I've been playing with these shadows all year because I've had my samples and stuff, but the collab between me and Shroud Cosmetics, the It's Frickin' Bats palette, this is my baby. I used it to help create my look today. I use this all the time. I feel like it doesn't look like it's that used and abused, but it's because I mostly used my singles for the longest time. I just love this with my whole heart. I'm so excited that you guys were excited about this. You have no idea how much that means to me. Chloe, the owner of the brand, she is still working so incredibly hard to get your palettes out to you. She actually closed the site down temporarily. The plan is for her to be done and open up the shop again early next year, but stay tuned on Shroud's Instagram account. That's where she's been posting all of her updates, a little bit of behind the scenes stuff. It's been really interesting. The palette will also be coming back once the shop reopens, which is super exciting because I know some of you still really want to get it, and I'm just so incredibly proud of my palette. I'm so thrilled that you guys think it's exciting. I'm sorry that the launch has had like bumps in the road. We just truly didn't expect it to take off as much as it did. We thought it was going to be a very like low-key kind of situation. She thought it was going to be bigger than her normal launches, but we did not expect the amount of people that wanted one of these, and I'm so thankful that you guys love it, and just thank you for being patient. I know it's been frustrating with delays, but she's working so hard. She hired a customer service person to help take care of emails email so she can continue working on the palettes undisturbed, and she's getting them out to you as fast as possible, I promise you. Whenever the site does reopen, by the way, you can use my affiliate code BEAUTBEAN to save 10% on the site. That is another one where I will make commission, so no pressure, but you can use it to save on my palette or any of the other palettes on the site. I'm excited to see what Shroud's coming out with next year. I know a few secrets of what's to come. No more collabs with me, don't get too excited, but I'm just excited to see like what she comes out with. Okay, moving on to things that aren't about me. These Sugar Pill capsule palettes in general, I've been really excited about. I brought out the number 3, the black one, because it's my favorite of the 3. I like the grungy aspect of it. I don't have the anniversary one right this second. It should be coming in the mail at some point. I don't know where it's at right now though, but I've loved the first 3. They make me feel so creative. They get my creative juices just flowing. I feel super inspired. I've been loving the capsule palette, so just in general, I wanted to shout them out, but number 3 is my favorite. Oh, this was a fun one from earlier this year. This is the Menagerie Pastel Pup. This is such a cute pastel palette. I had a blast with this. This was such a fun release. I only have little minor gripes, like I don't love the yellow and orange. They're just a bit too pale for me, but I think it's just because I'm so pale. I've seen people with a darker skin tone use them and they look really cute because they actually pop because they aren't a ghost. But all of the other shades work great on me. I think they're all super beautiful and easily blendable, and they can be built up. I love this palette and I love Menagerie, and I'm really excited to see what they come out with as well next year because I don't think we've had any releases other than the blush palette in this. I think she might have launched some new lipstick colors as well, but I want another palette. I'm itching for one. I guess let's talk about Colourpop. This is the That's Taupe palette from the That's Taupe collection that I was obsessed with. I truly did not expect to fall in love with this palette the way that I did. I don't know what to tell you. It's beautiful. When it comes to neutrals, I'm a cool tone person. I love the range of mattes in here. We have 5 mattes and they just range from light to dark, so you can make the perfect level of smokiness. We have 3 shimmers, 1 super shock shadow, no pressed glitters, no sequin shadows. The formulation is perfect. I love that it's all cardboard. There's no mirror. This was just such a well done palette. For a monochromatic palette, this is my favorite one. Might be one of my favorite palettes in general from Colourpop, that or this next one I'm going to talk about. This is the collab between Raw Beauty Kristi and Colourpop, the At Foresight palette. I love this. I had such a blast playing with this with you guys. I love the range of like depth and bright but grunge. It's so pretty. It's like rainbow but make it a little grungier. It's so beautiful. Again, no pressed glitters, which I'm thrilled with. There is a sequin shadow, but I just pretend it's a matte. It's not the end of the world. I love the 2 shimmer shadows included. I think she killed it with this palette. It's so much fun. I didn't pick up her other collab this year, but I'm so glad I have this one in my hand because it's beautiful and Kristi just deserves everything. She is a precious little angel baby. This next one had me so excited. This is the Melt She's in Parties palette. This was my birthday present to myself over the summer and I'm still really thrilled with it. I love the berry tones. I love the way they look on me. I feel super pretty and romantic, but also kind of sultry. It's beautiful. There's only 3 mattes in here, which I don't usually love a shimmer heavy palette, but the mattes they chose I feel like are perfect because I can kind of mix and match and create the level of gradient that I need. I really don't feel like I'm missing anything with the mattes, and all of the shimmers are so beautiful and special in their own way. I feel like it's a very versatile palette for it being fairly monochromatic. I had a lot of fun with this one. This was a great release. I never picked up the Beetlejuice collection, just in case you're wondering why that's not in here. I just never picked it up. I was super thrilled about the theming, but the more I looked at it, the more I decided I didn't need it. Next are the 2 newest palettes from Kaleidos. I was thrilled with these. They are so much fun. This is the Sashimi City palette. We have 4 mattes and 2 beautiful duochromes. This is such a beautiful kind of pinky neutral palette. It has just the most special aspect to it. I feel like I made such pretty looks with these colors. The duochromes are just to die for. I can't get enough of it. I didn't expect to love this one as much as I do either. This one took me by surprise and I'm very happy about it. And this one is the Lunar Lavender palette. This one is my favorite release of the year, probably, aside from my own palette. I just think this one's so fun. I was so excited about playing with this one. Again, the 4 mattes are beautiful. The 2 duochromes are out of this world. I was so happy with this release and I am just still so thrilled with this palette. Easily my favorite Kaleidos palette, and I think my favorite palette of 2020 because it's just so good. Again, aside from my palette, I'm a little biased. I love my baby. Kaleidos is another brand I'm so thrilled to see with what's coming next because they do so good and I'm so excited to see what else they do. Let's talk about Muse Beauty. This was a really cool discovery in 2020. They are a new brand, so that's why I didn't know about them sooner, but they're brand new and they base their palettes and products around artwork and they're just really cool. I've really been enjoying them. This is the Impressionism palette. This was their first release, and it's just so much fun. I was very pleasantly surprised on how much I loved this formula. I wasn't like having low expectations, but they were a brand new brand. I didn't know what to expect, but I didn't expect to fall in love with it. The mattes are so easily blended. They are very pigmented, but they just blend so softly and easily without being like overly pigmented to the point where they can get out of control. These shimmers are so wet looking. They're not insanely like sparkly foiled, but they're just very glidey and wet looking. Super, super pretty. I love this one. And their newest palette, which I love even more, is the Van Gogh palette. It's the cutest little grungy 9-pan. I've had so much fun with this one. By the way, I've posted multiple looks on YouTube and Instagram with all of these palettes at this point, so just go searching if you want to see any inspiration. But I love this little Van Gogh palette. It's so cute. And again, beautiful matte formula, beautiful shimmer formula. It's all good. I have an affiliate code with Muse Beauty as well. My code BEAUTBEAN will save you 10%. And again, that one is a commission code, so no pressure, but I appreciate it if you use it. Okay, we're getting to the end of the line here. Let's talk about Odenzai palettes. Odenzai as a brand, I feel like I should have just talked about, like just Odenzai in general. I'm obsessed with them. But I want to talk about my favorite palettes specifically. I love all their palettes, but these are my top ones. This is the Salmon palette. This was the first one I fell in love with from them. I love the lilac. I love the mustard. I love the shimmers they chose. I really like this pinky tone as a blush specifically as well. I just thought this was a really cute palette. I used this before work a lot when I first got it because it was just really easy to throw a look together and it always looked good. Had a really good time with this one. This was a great first experience. And then part of their summer collection, the Alva 2, is just stunning. Beautiful Brights palette. They definitely needed this in their range because everything else was a little bit more on the neutrals with pops of color side. We needed some brights from them and they did not fail. I love that there's like a mix of pastels, brights, couple pops of neutral in here. I wish there weren't the 2 glitters. I would have much preferred to see more just shimmers from them because their shimmer formula is so just beautiful and wet looking. But overall, I love this palette. I think it performs beautifully and I can't wait to see what they come out with next year. And then also for the summer release, they came out with 3 mini palettes, and the Mini Forest palette is actually my favorite palette from them ever. I think it's so pretty. Something about this color story is just so special. I love the split pan shimmers. We have 2 other shimmers and 2 mattes. Again, I don't typically love a shimmer heavy palette, but something about this one just really works for me. I feel like it's pretty versatile for it being only 6 shades, and I don't know. I love it. I like this mini palette format from them, and I would not mind seeing more minis from them. I love a good 6-pan palette. 6, 9, and 12. I feel like those are my favorite formats of a palette. Next is the Midas Cosmetics Smoky Glow palette. This was an early 2020 release, and I'm just so proud of her. I'm thrilled that she got to do this. I'm glad she got to do this before the pandemic really went full force, because that just adds a whole lot of stress to launches, let me tell you. But regardless, anyways, this is just a beautiful palette. She absolutely killed it with this color story. I had so much fun with it. I still pick it up from time to time. The shimmers she chose are so beautiful, especially Leno and Nutty. The mattes all blend like butter. It's just all kinds of fun, and I'm so proud of Hannah. She absolutely killed it. And the last palette I want to talk about is from Alter Ego. This is the Artemis palette, and I'm obsessed with it. I don't typically love palettes this large. There are a lot of shades in here, like 28 I believe, but all of the shadows are so special. The shimmers are so pretty. I cannot get enough of Alter Ego's shimmers. This is a dupe for the Natasha Denona Metropolis palette, in case you couldn't tell, and it's just so pretty. Some of the mattes are their normal powder matte formula, but a lot of the mattes in here are kind of like a cream matte, to where they have a little bit of a creamy texture, but they blend so easily and softly. I feel like beginners would really get down with that formula because it just blends so effortlessly. It doesn't take a lot. It doesn't get overwhelming too fast. I feel like it always stays really soft. On the flip side, they're very buildable, which isn't my personal favorite. I would prefer more impact upon application, but I understand how this formula works, so I'm okay with it. The color story is super fun. I really liked the look of the Metropolis palette, but there was no way I was dropping that kind of money on a palette. I will never be dropping Natasha Denona money on a palette, but I'm glad that this exists and I've had a lot of fun with it. And I have an affiliate code with Alter Ego as well, so if you want to save 10% on their already affordable site, you can use code BEAUTBEAN, and that one is an affiliate code as well, meaning I'll make a commission. Okay, a few more eye products that are just like by themselves. I have a couple Super Shock shadows to talk about. I've been on a Super Shock shadow kick this year. I haven't acquired them like crazy, but I've just really been appreciating really special Super Shocks. My first love is Ritz. This is actually my new Ritz. This is from the That's Taupe collection because I completely wiped through my original Ritz. It was dead. But Ritz is just such a good, wet looking, kind of champagne-y. I don't know how to describe it. When you put it on the lid, it just looks like your lid is wet and dewy, and it's so pretty. I use this as a topper all the time. It is so good. But this next one is giving it a run for its money. This was part of the Raw Beauty Kristi Colourpop collection. This is the shade Mycelium. I want to swatch them next to each other so you can see. It's very similar to Ritz, but this one's just a little bit lighter, and it's just, they're both just so wet looking. They're so beautiful. I love a special looking Super Shock shadow. That has been one of my favorite things lately. Also from the Raw Beauty Kristi collection, this is Like a Moss. It's a really pretty kind of limey, yellowy green color. It's so cute and so exciting. These are the kind of things I like to throw on again before work. I'll just slap one on the eye really quick and blend out the edges and call it a day. And Like a Moss is just too cute. And then the last one, which I'm mad because I just found out yesterday that this is no longer available on Colourpop's site, even though it was literally available a week ago. But regardless, this is the shade Ice Dream. I have it all across my lid right now. It is just the most pretty iridescent pinky bluey purple situation. I hope so bad they bring this back because so many of you have complimented me on this shadow. I want it to come back so bad because it's so pretty, and I'm angry, but I still wanted to talk about it because I'm obsessed with it. I only have one glitter to talk about, and it's the one from the Colourpop Hocus Pocus collection, the Amok 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 one. It's just all kinds of like purple, blue, pink. It's very cute. I love this Glitterly Obsessed. These aren't intended for use around the eye, but I personally use them around my eye. I always just advise don't do it, but if you're gonna do it, be very careful. I think this one's so fun. I've used this one more times than I can count, so I just had to talk about it. A couple of the ones in the new Hello Kitty collection almost made it, but I've only used those like 2 or 3 times each, so they didn't make it into my yearly favorites, but they'll probably make it into my December favorites. A couple liquid glitters before we get into liners. I've been obsessed with the e.l.f. liquid glitter shadows. I just grabbed my top 3 that I think are my top 3. It's hard to pick favorites, but just in general, it's a beautiful formula. It's very glitzy, glimmery. They're a little like sheer upon first application. You have to kind of build them up and work with them a little bit. It's not just insane pigment right off the bat, but once you get them applied, they're beautiful. I will show you my favorite shades. This one is Mermaid Shimmy. I almost wore this as a winged liner today, but I decided I didn't feel like it. But it's a really pretty seafoam minty green color, and it's just so sparkly. These are another one I'll just slap on the lid and blend out the edges before work. They're just so easy. I've seen some people like doing these one and done eyeshadow videos where they just talk about their favorite one and done eyeshadows. Is that something you want to see from me? Because I could totally whip together a video like that. This one is Disco Queen. It's just like a white iridescent kind of situation. Super, super pretty. And this one I think is my all-time favorite. This is the shade Dirty Martini. It is so pretty. You guys know I love an olive. And it's just so glamorous, but still grungy. So up my alley. I love these little liquid shadows. I like how petite they are. I don't know. I'm having a great time with them. They were a good discovery this year. Alright, let's talk about eyeliner. First off, I wanted to talk about the KVD Vegan Beauty Super Brow Pomades. These aren't new by any means, and I used to use the brown ones back in the day to fill in my brows, but I got added to their PR list earlier this year, and they sent me like all of the colors, like even the fun colors. And I just wanted to talk about them in general because I use them as winged liner all the time. They are waterproof and eye safe, so they make great like eyeliners, and they're beautiful. I brought out the shades Scarlet and Graphite because I feel like I've used these more than anything else. Scarlet is just a really pretty bright red. I feel like it's what you would expect. It's just bright, bright red. You could also use these in the brows. I've been personally using them as liner, and I use this Graphite one all the time to create a really big wing as like a black base to put shadows on top of. It's super nice, and I just wanted to shout those out because I've been using them nonstop. A couple eye pencils to talk about. These two from the Colourpop Raw Beauty Kristi collection I'm obsessed with. This one is Just in Time. It's this teal. It looks exactly like it does on the tube, and this is Marigold, a really pretty kind of mustard yellow kind of situation. It's beautiful. I love this one in my waterline right now. Just in Time is so cute. Wanted to shout these two pencils out because they are stunning colors. Colourpop needs to make those permanent because they're too good. The only other one I want to talk about is the NYX one in the shade Chartreuse. This is one of the Epic Wear liners, and it is just a bright metallic chartreuse. I need more shades in this line. This is the only one I've tried from the Epic Wear collection, and it is beautiful. So I want to try more in 2021. Let me know your favorite shades, please. I don't really have any other eye pencil favorites because I've still just been using the same NYX ones and Colourpop ones and LA Girl ones from last year. I haven't tried a whole lot of new ones, and the ones that I have tried didn't necessarily make it to favorite status, unlike these three. Ooh, that's a cute color combo, isn't it? Love it. Last eye product before we get into the lips is I wanted to talk about the Colourpop Cutie stamps. I was going to talk about all 3 shapes, but technically I've already had like a heart and star from Milk Makeup for years, but I wanted to talk about the moon because who doesn't want a cute little moon on their face? That's adorable. I use these little stamps all the time and I think the moon is just so much fun, so I wanted to quickly shout that guy out as well. Alright, moving on to lips, I wanted to first talk about the e.l.f. Ride or Die lip balms. I've really enjoyed this formula. I have like 4 of the shades. I brought out Tough Cookie, which is one of my favorites, but I think my #1 favorite is Mighty Mint. It's in a white tube, but just this formula in general, it's a very nice hydrating lip balm. I wear one of these every single day before work under my mask because it keeps me nice and hydrated under there. And yeah, I like this lip balm. Again, I almost shouted out the Lip Scrub Lip Mask from the Hello Kitty Colourpop collection, but I've only had those for about a week now at this moment that I'm filming, so they can't be yearly favorites, but they will probably be in my December favorites because I'm obsessed with them. I have a couple lip pencils to talk about because this was the year that I discovered I like lip liner now. I never thought I'd see the day, but these are the 2 that got it started for me. Again, they were from the That's Taupe collection with Colourpop. We have the shades Ashton and Cool BFF. I'm wearing Ashton as my lip liner today. They're very similar, just cool tone, neutral brownie kind of colors. I love them. They are beautiful. I want more lip pencils from Colourpop because I'm really into that formula. Also, these 2 from Muse Beauty, they came out with lip liners after they came out with their Impressionism palette. I don't know the names of these off the top of my head. I'll have everything in the description box. They have 3 other shades as well, but the brown ones are the ones that I reach for the most. My memory card filled up because I've been talking for a million years, so if things suddenly look shifted, that's why. But as I was saying, these are more of a wooden pencil kind of situation, but they work fantastic. I love them, and I wanted to shout those out as well because I've been on a lip liner kick, and these 4 have been satisfying my needs. Another kind of lip treatment product, which I guess I should have talked about with the balm, but we'll transition this into gloss, but I've really been enjoying the Colourpop Luxe Lip Oils. I've gotten a couple shades from the Wild Nothing collection. I don't really feel like you need more than like 1 or 2 of these total because they look very similar on the lips, just like hydrated, not a lot of tint. This specifically is the shade Hot Shot. It doesn't really look like much on the lips, but it's a very hydrating formula. Sometimes I wear one of these under my mask as well because it just feels very nourishing. I like the way these feel. They're a very nice kind of pop something on the lip if you want to feel nourished kind of vibe. I guess let's just talk about all of my glosses really quick. Sticking with Colourpop, this is also from the Raw Beauty Kristi collection. This is the shade Glacier. It's a sheer with sparkle. If you know me at all, you know that's my vibe. I like a sheer gloss with sparkle in it. I really like the Luxe Gloss formula from Colourpop. I think it's lovely, so there's that one. The 2 ultra glossy lips from the That's Taupe collection. I told you I love that collection. I'm wearing the shade Queen Cobra right now. Again, it's like a sheer with sparkle, but it's a little bit more of a cool toned, taupier sheer with sparkle. Has a little bit more color to it than the Raw Beauty Kristi one does, but I will justify any sheer sparkly gloss. I love them all. And this one's the shade Rattler. This is more of a cream finish, and it's just a really pretty kind of neutrally cool tony brown. It's not super ashy looking, but it's super pretty. I don't love the wand applicator on these. I don't like the brush tip. I prefer a doe foot, but overall I like the way they look, and I've been using these glosses nonstop. I've been wearing this lip combo in particular. I've worn it so many times, I can't even tell you. This was a great discovery. This is the Tower 28 Magic Jelly Gloss. I love this. One of my favorite gloss formulas currently. It is so slippy. It's sheer with gold sparkle in it, and it is one of the prettiest glosses. It is beautiful, such a comfortable slippy formula. Highly recommend. This is the Ulta Beauty brand Plumped Up Pout Lip Gloss in the shade Candy Stick, I believe. Yes, it is called Candy Stick. It is a painful gloss, and if you're someone who likes a painful plumping gloss, you will love this. It's just a nice kind of sheer peachy color. It's not like too overwhelming of a color. Ooh, but it burns and I love it. It's such a good plump. I want more shades of that. And the last gloss I have is the Crystal Trinket Gloss from Sugar Pill. It's a really pretty peachy gold shift kind of gloss. It's literally like the Trinket liquid lipstick but in gloss form, and it is so pretty. I really like Sugar Pill's glosses. This one's a little bit thicker than the Bloom and Flicker gloss that I love so much, but it's still lovely and I've worn it quite a few times. Wait, I have another gloss to talk about. This is the Dramatized Gloss from Kaleidos. I really like Kaleidos gloss formula. Again, it's a very slippy gloss, which I love. It's a really cool kind of pinky warm, almost reddish, but not kind of situation. It's like Mars Melter, but in a lip gloss form. This is a really fun shade. They came out with another lip gloss this year, but I didn't love it nearly as much as this dramatized one. So there's that. And I guess to transition into liquid lipsticks, this is the Little Jasmine Cream Lip Stain from Odenzai. I don't really consider these a gloss, but it's not really like a liquid lipstick either. It has shine to it, but in like a creamy kind of way, not in a glossy kind of way. Either way, I really like the cream lip stain formula from Odenzai. The matte lip stain I like as well, but I reach for the cream ones more often. And I don't know, I just love this Little Jasmine one. I've worn it a billion times and it's so pretty. Let me try to wipe all this sticky off my hands and then we will get on to the last couple lip products, just a few. Everything wiped off except for the Moon and the Chartreuse pencil. Okay, 4 liquid lipsticks and then we will be done. This is the liquid lipstick from Sugarpill in the shade Cherish. It's a really pretty pinky neutral color. I feel like it's a typical shade, but I like this kind of a shade and I've really been enjoying this lip product in particular. It's really pretty and I've used it many a time. This one from KVD Vegan Beauty I fell in love with upon first swatch. This is the shade Plath. Oh, and it's just such a good grungy rusty brown. Be Still My Heart, that is beautiful. I love this one. Such a pretty one. And this particular one has a really nice formula. I feel like the KVD Vegan Beauty liquid lipsticks are very hit or miss. Some are very chunky and flaky, and some are very smooth and long lasting. And I feel like this is one of the smooth ones. And I have 2 Menagerie liquid lipsticks to talk about. I've been loving them since last year, but I wanted to shout out these 2 shades because I've been obsessed with them. This is Anthurium. I've only been obsessed with this one for about a month and a half. I'll be honest with you, but I just felt like I had to talk about it. It's a really pretty wine color. So pretty. I was going through a thing where I wanted this color, but I thought I didn't have any quite like it in my collection, and then I found this one and I was like, wow, this has been in my possession for a while. It's so pretty. And I also wanted to shout out Hyacinth because I get so many compliments when I wear this one. It is such a fun purple. So vibrant, so beautiful. I love Menagerie's formula. It has a little bit more of a velvet finish. It's not completely like matte dry. It has a little bit of a velvety matte. It's very hard to explain, but that's the best I got. And those are the liquid lipsticks. And that's my Best of Beauty 2020. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm sure it was a long one. I hope you enjoyed it. I want to chat about your favorites down in the comments. Do you love any of the things I talked about? Do you hate any of the things I talked about? I want to hear what your favorites for 2020 were. If you made it to the end of this video, leave me your current most used emoji. And if you liked this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you're not already, please hop over to my Instagram. It's BEAUTBEAN. Follow me there. I post every single day. And don't forget to subscribe because I'm posting every single day in the month of December. Please make sure you're staying informed with everything that's going on in the world. There will be links in my description box that will take you to resources and ways in which you can help. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Okay, bye.